Welcome back to the Qt Developer. Okay, so today I'm going to make a clock. So what I've done is I've set this up. I have a main window. I'm going to use a Q widget to inherit from. I've created the constructor, the destructor, and I've overridden the paint event. Now inside of my main window class file, I have three includes, one for QPainter, one for QTime, and one for QTimer, because I'll need those. I've also resized the window, which is here, when I actually show the window from main window. Resized it to 350 by 350. So I'll go ahead and run it, and this is what I get. My title. Now I can actually go ahead and set the window title. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I'd like to use this just to make sure I'm in the right scope. Set window title, and I'm going to set it to analog clock. Now let's try something different. Qt Developer clock. There. I like that better. Okay, nice. Now let's go ahead and run. See how pretty it looks? Nice. There it is. Okay, great. Alright, so now I need to get to work. Time to get to work. So the first thing I think I need to do is I'm going to have to create a timer. So let's see. And I'm going to do all of this before I set the window. Alright, so I'll create a QTimer, and I'll come up with a creative name. Call it timer 0, and I'll make that equal to a new QTimer, and I'm going to give it a parent of this. Now, once I have this, I now need to actually connect the timer to something. So I'm going to connect the timer, or in this case, the timer 0, which is the instance. Is that right? Nope, I spelled timer wrong. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to connect it, and then I need to pass it a method. And let's see, QTimer. And I want to pass it the timeout method. I'm then going to pass it the instance of what I wanted to connect it to, which is actually going to be a Q overload. I like that. A Q overload. And the Q overload will be of the main window. Whoops. And the update method. That's what I want to overload. And need to add my semicolon. And there we go. Okay, great. Now from here. Now, what's missing? Well, I need to start it. So I need to say timer 0, and I want to start it, and I want to give it 1,000 milliseconds. There. So now that I have all that stuff, I will then set the window size, set the window title, run it one more time just to make sure that it's not going to go ballistic. Great. Okay. Move the window around. All right. No craziness. All right, give myself a little space. I'd like to have a little space in there. Give myself a little more space. It looks nice and pretty. Whoops. Okay, now moving on to greener pastures. So the next thing I need to do is I actually need to give it a little triangle, like something to physically draw. So why don't I go ahead and give this let's make it a static const. And the const is going to be a Q point. And the Q point, let's name it, let's name it hour hand. And the hour hand will be an array, and it'll be an array of 3 elements. And let's see. So the first Q point is going to be, we'll say it's 7, and then to 8. The next point will be from the -7 to 8. So I'm drawing a triangle, essentially. And then the next point will be from 0 to -70. And there we go. Now, need to end it with the semicolon. There it is. Nice. And so the next thing, I need to do the minute hand. So, make my life a little bit easier. Go ahead and copy, paste. And I'll change this to minute hand. There. And now I need to update my numbers. Okay. So that is good. That is good. But I think this is wrong, actually. I think that should be 40. There we go. Now that I have my 2 hands, one for hour, one for minute, I'll go ahead and give it a color. So let's give it a color. Whoops. And it'll be hour color. And the hour color, let's say it'll be 200 by 0 by 0. Okay. And then the minute color, that's going to be, let's say 50, 50, 50, 100. Okay. Now, it's time to make a side. So, whoops. So let's make an integer, call it side. We're going to set it to a Q minimum. It's a handy little function. And I'll set that to the width and height. And what that's going to do is going to take the minimum of either the width or the height and assign it to the side. I then want to take the QTime and give it a time and set that equal to the QTime, and I can get the current time. Okay. The next important part is to actually get an instance of the painter event. So if I create a QPainter and I call it just painter and I pass it this, I can now get the paint event. And I'm going to set the render hint. And I want to set the render hint to an anti-alias. What that's going to do is smooth all the edges. So QPainter. Anti-aliasing. There. Okay. Give myself a little more space. Okay. Now let me go ahead and run. Let's see if it goes crazy. Okay, good. Nothing crazy. Anything crazy here? No. I'll just check as I go along. All right. So now that I have the paint event, I now need to set a translation. So I'm going to choose translate. And I'm going to translate the width divided by 2 and the height divided by 2. Whoops. There. Now what that's going to do is going to shift everything basically in the middle. Then I can set the scale, and the scale will be, the side variable, and I'll divide that by, I want 350, because that's the size of the window, and then side divided by 350. Okay. And now I want to set the actual pen color. That's what's next. So painter.set pen, and the pen is going to actually be no pen. No pen. Then I want to set the brush to the hour color. So when I set the pen, that's going to set an outline. When I set the brush, that'll set the fill. So now I set the brush color, and the brush color will be our color. Okay. Now it's important for me to actually save. Okay. So save the state. Then it's time to rotate. So I want to rotate, and I want to rotate by, say, 30, which is going to be a float. Oops, I don't want to do that. Too many parentheses. 30, which is a float, and I want to do that times the time dot, did that work? Time dot hour. I want to add the time, dot minute, and then I want to divide 60, which is also a float. And then go ahead and end it. Now it's time to draw my polygon. So I could say painter.draw complex polygon, and I want to draw the hour hand, and the point count is 3. Then I can restore the painter back to its original state. Then I can go ahead and set the pen. And the pen will be our color. Now I'll run it. And there it is. Beautiful. So I've got the hour hand. It's showing up. That's great. Now it's time to see if I can actually do what? Draw the lines. Draw the lines for the outer edges. And that will be a for loop. And the for loop, let's make it H for hour. The for loop has to be less than 12 because there are 12 hours. I'm only doing actually less than or equal to 12 because I'm only doing I'm doing regular time, not military time. And then I will increment hour. Okay. And then from here, what I want to do is I want to draw a little line. Whoops. Draw the line. And the line, I think I want to make it from 88 to 0 to 96 back to 0. I then want to rotate the painter, and I'll rotate it 30 30 degrees, which is a float. Go ahead and run this again. And there we go. There's our hour. Beautiful. Okay. Next step. The next step is to actually set the pen back to no pen. Oh. Boy. No pen. There we go. All right, so set the pen back to no pen. Then I want to set the brush. So I want to set the brush, and I want to set the brush to the minute color. There we are. So and I'm basically going to repeat the same process as I did with the hour hand, but I'm going to be doing it for the minute hand. So then I'll go ahead and save the state again. And now I'm going to go ahead and rotate, same as I did before. Except this time, I'm going to do it a little less. So I'm only going to rotate by 6. And I'll do that by the minute and the second. So time dot minute plus the time dot second. And I'll divide that whole thing by 60. And then end it. Now from here, I'm going to want to go ahead and draw the complex polygon again. There. And I want to pass it the minute hand, which is the polygon to be drawn, triangle, which has 3 points. And then I'm going to go ahead. I want to set the pen to the minute color, which is the outline color. Set the pen to minute color. And let's go ahead and test it. There it is. Nice. So here's all of my hours. And then here are the minutes. It's pretty good. I like it. Okay. Now, play around numbers. So here's these lines that are being drawn. Rotate 30 degrees. That's what's happening when you draw those lines. You see? So that's X and Y, then width, height. But I'll go ahead and I'll change this. Let's make that to like 250. And you can see what happens. There, you see? Totally blast it out. So you can have a lot of fun with this. So, if I want to make it a little bit more, I can make it 125. There, you see? So we can make all kinds of very interesting little designs with the clock. So I'll keep it at 96. Now if I play with this number here, if I make that 255, you can see what happens there. There, you see? Does something similar, but it takes it from the inner edge. So we'll go back, leave it at my 88. So this is what I have. So now one more thing to do. Now I have to draw the minute. Okay. So drawing the minute. So in here, I'm going to have to draw another, or create another loop. So in this loop, let's call it int m, and I'll set that to 0. Then m is going to be less than 60 because there are 60 seconds in a minute. Right? Oh, 60 minutes in an hour, I mean. But there's also 60 seconds in a minute. And then I'm going to do plus m. Okay. But then I need to check. So I need to say, all right, well, if what? M modulus 5, okay, is not equal to 0, I need to draw a line. And the line, whoops, draw a line. Draw a line. And I'm going to do the same thing, the 92 and the 96. So it's going to be a little bit bigger than this 88 because they're minutes. So those minute lines will be larger. So 92, 0, 96, 0. Now I'm going to rotate. And I'm going to rotate it again by 6. So let's see what happens now. And there we have it. Nice and neat little clock. That's pretty fun. It will resize. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's interesting. Won't resize when it gets down that small. That's a little bug. Let's go take a look. Probably, no, that's just my colors. Let's see what size my window is. Okay, that's correct, that's correct. Did I mess this up? No. Hold on. What if I make my window smaller? That's it. It's the window size. Okay, there we go. Alright, so if I run this again, let's see, something does seem a little off. Right here, see, it's a little strange. I think I forgot something. I don't think I restored it. So I need to do painter.restore there. And now if I run it, that's more like it. There we go. And there's the clock, ladies and gentlemen. Looks nice and pretty. Nice and symmetrical. My hour, my minute, beautiful. Well, if you have any thoughts and comments, please leave them below. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to make. We could make something together. Well, thank you for watching. See you next time.